Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
You sneaky, you're running as an outsider.
I am an outsider.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles. So that
well, the frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right, elbows up.
Elbows up.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
My great pleasure to introduce my husband, the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong. And Canada full!
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Thank you. It will be an honor to continue to fight for you and to be a champion of your cause as we go forward.
Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Unhinged Fringe tonight on the stream. I'm going to bring our co-hosts in a moment, but first I want to welcome everybody in. It's great to have you here. I hope you're having a hell of a week. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm in uniform tonight because, well, my name's Dick of good old Dick's Morning Wood Service. I'm here to let you guys know we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot going on, a whole lot of stuff, guys, a lot of stuff going on. Lots on the docket tonight. It's been a heck of a week. I've been talking a lot about immigration. We're going to talk about it, but somebody else is going to talk about it tonight. One important announcement before we get started on the stream, and I bring in our co-hosts, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't been watching on the streams, good old Mike Freedom Honey, a friend of mine, as well as his wife Sherry over at Calendars That Curse, we have collaborated on the newest calendar that curses, the Fingers Up Carney calendar. The 2026 calendar that is now out. I'm going to be giving a slew of these away between now and the end of the year. So get your thumbs ups, folks. Get the likes in on the channel. If we hit 1,000 likes on tonight's stream, I'm going to mail one out to one lucky winner. You must be a member of the Patriots Club to get in on that draw. We got to start doing that because I've been giving away a ton of free stuff. We got to pay the bills somehow, folks. I got to cover the costs. So you have to be a member tonight. If we get 1,000 likes, one lucky member will be getting a random Mark Carney, F. Carney calendar sent to them, courtesy of Unacceptable Fringe. Retails for about $30. I'm going to talk about a few other things, talking about Mike Freedom Honey. First, let's bring in our co-host, the amazing Celtic Canuck. Welcome into the show, as well as Matt. Thank you for joining us again for Unhinged Fringe. How are you guys doing?
That's great.
Very
just
well.
great.
How you doing, Derek?
Just great. I can feel the energy. It's good to have you guys here. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I don't know if you guys have noticed, back in my background, there was a joke running on the channel about voting for OSB. We've talked about OSB on the show. There was a shadow campaign going on around Pierre Poilievre's by-election where some people had a sign of OSB sheepboard out saying they'd rather vote for that than a politician because of the state of the country, because of Alberta. Something really funny has happened. Mike Freedom Honey stopped by this week, giving me my own miniature Vote OSB sign for my desk. I've had it sitting in my background for the last few videos, if everybody's noticed. But one of the cool things we're going to be doing, I want to bring this into the stage. We're running a new campaign. The Vote OSB shirt is now out, ladies and gentlemen. It's limited edition. If you're in on the channel joke, head over to our shop at Spreadshirt. You can find the link in any of our videos. Head over to the Spread Shop, grab your Vote OSB shirt or hoodie or mug. They're only available for a limited time, but all of the profits, every cent of the profits, ladies and gentlemen, while they're available, are going to help our veterans. So go and grab those now. They're out. They're available. Shout out to Mike Freedom Honey for allowing us to use the Vote OSB for that.
Did we get a vote count for OSB? What did they end up with?
I don't know how OSB fared in the by-election. I don't think it was very well.
The people want to know.
You know,
I heard the CBC likes to give a lot of airtime to the people who lost.
Well, you know, Bonnie Critchley was really upset OSB didn't win. I'll maybe reach out to her for comment on what happened with
Please
OSB.
Don't.
Maybe Mike will give us a number. I don't know. Speaking of charities, guys, speaking of things that we're doing to help those in need, I was proud to announce tonight, let's bring the screen in. The donation has been made to Texas flood relief victims. We always put out our receipts on the channel here to make sure everybody knows everything's legit. So as of yesterday, August 26th, 11:37 a.m., Samaritan's Purse, dear Derek Smith, thank you for your generous support of Samaritan's Purse. We greatly appreciate your partnership as we work worldwide to provide physical, spiritual aid to suffering people in the name of Jesus Christ. Your generosity will enable us to continue sharing the love of Christ and the hope of the gospel. Down here, you can see Texas flood relief, $8,000 donation
That is
made
awesome.
yesterday, August 26th at, well, it says 1:37 their time, 11:37 our time. So there it is, folks. The receipts out in the open for you guys. So thank you to everybody who contributed to the Tens for Texas, everybody who sent in memberships, super chats, who bought merch, who ordered books from Amazon. You guys are the reason that was possible. But again, we always put the receipts forward on the channel. I want everybody to know that, you know, we don't pocket that money around here or do anything foolish. I'm not Justin Trudeau. We're not running a scam charity over here. So thank you to everybody. Enough stalling. Let's get a roll call going on. Let's get a good old-fashioned roll call happening in the stream. And then we're going to move on to the juice of tonight's stream. Welcome into everybody again. Again, guys, 1,000 likes. We're going to be giving away one of those calendars to one of our lucky Patriot Club members. Let me know where you're watching from. If it's your first time in here, let me know in the chat. Let's see if we can get somebody from every province in the country. Lucas coming in from Burnaby, BC. We got Marika joining us from Moke City, Montreal. David Brewer joining us from Springfield, Missouri. I see Carson El Gringo Grande hanging out in the stream there. Nelson Cades joining us from New Brunswick. We got Carol and Gerald joining us once again from Calgary. Mystical still stuck on my roof. I'm not letting you off. It's okay. You can stay up there for a while. What do we got here? John says, Matt, say hello to CPS Breaking News, Punisher, and Tiff, and Gunner, and Beauty and Ashes. I'm not sure who all those people are, but Matt, maybe you do. Jancor's coming in from Ottawa. Welcome in. We've got Eric 204, my brother, joining us from Winnipeg. Welcome in. Aaron's joining us from Red Deer. We got Mr. Biggs joining us from Edmonton. Once again, we got Ingrid and Charlie, my favorite mod named Ingrid, joining us from good old Okotoks, Alberta. Welcome into the stream. They're looking for cowbell. I don't know if we got a fever yet, but Derek says it's going into someone else's pocket. Never. Welcome into the stream. Good to have you here. We've got Ann King joining us from Ohio in the good old United States of America. They're keeping America great, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. We got Glenn coming in from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. We got Toten Isti. Totlinus. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. Coming in from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome in. We love Arizona. Blonde Lynn coming in from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Mike TV Dub reporting from the Peg. Carson El Gringo Grande. I still got to get his animation going on in here. Coming in from Porno Viagra. Membership giveaways at 500 thumbs up, guys. So there you go. 500 likes, we're getting membership giveaways. 1,000 likes. Calendars That Curse is sending you a Mark Carney fingers up calendar. You got to be a member of the Patriots Club for that one, folks. I see so many people chiming into the roll call. We got to get this stream going at some point, ladies and gents. So let's get on with tonight's discussion. I know we never talk about it on this channel, but immigration. Immigration's a hot button issue these days. It's the number one issue that was on Canadians' minds as we entered the federal election. Too bad nobody talked about it. Celtic, I've been following the immigration all week, and I guess you've been keeping your eyes on it. One of the stories that happened this week was a little close to home for you. What have you been keeping your eye on? What do you want to point out in the old immigration?
Immigration. Okay, so I looked into this. I was going to do the usual, give the statistics, give the numbers. And you can't really talk about immigration in Canada without talking about immigration globally, because the same thing that's happening here is happening everywhere else. The problems faced by us are faced by the UK, faced by France, faced by Germany. This is not a Canadian problem. This is a worldwide problem. And I think the biggest mistake that we are making is actually using the word immigration. We need to stop doing that. If somebody wants to talk to you about immigration, it's not immigration. It's expansion. When you immigrate, you go from one place to another. They're not going from one place to another. They're bringing that other place to here. So as far as immigration goes, I'm not calling it that anymore. I am tired of the expansion, and we need to call it out for what it is. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that when it comes to immigration,
it's not immigration. I'm going to every time somebody uses that word with me, that's my response these days. It's not immigration.
I mean, I've always called them gimmigrants, timmigrants. Some people call them.
They're not coming to Canada, are they? Are they? When they get here, do they treat Canada like it's Canada? It's an expansion.
Well, a lot of them come to Canada and then leave every so many months to go back to the third world shithole that they came from. So it can't be that bad.
No, it's an expansion. They want you to expand that to everywhere. I guess we're all supposed to be equally miserable, maybe.
I want to bring one thing in before I let Matt jump in. Pierre Poilievre released this tweet this week. New data just shows that Liberals are also on track to overshoot their already high targets for new permanent residents of 395,000 for 2025, with 207 of those 1,000 issued so far as June 30th. So we're obviously going to triple those numbers if it's to remain at that level. Now, when we talk about permanent residents, a lot of times that's associated with these temporary workers, the ones who come in, who talk about, hey, we bought property here, we should be allowed to stay even though they're temporary. Part of my problem that I worry about is not only do we not have housing and jobs, but it raises security issues when you look at the crime that's happened around our country. Big cities like Toronto have mass issues with the crime happening, but we're already seeing it around the world. In fact, Matt, you raised to me what happened with that girl in Scotland this week.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
oh, that pissed me off.
That chick is badass. She pulled out a freaking tomahawk and a machete and said, "Leave me alone." But what they didn't show in a lot of that news, and I was reading the article, there had already been an assault before she did that. There was 3 girls there, and one of them they were being followed by this what should we call it? Can I say bad words?
Expansionist.
Expansionist. This invader. And he was making, these girls are like 9, 10, 12 years old. They were different ages. And he was saying, "You look pretty, you look sexy," to these young girls. And then they told him to leave him alone. And then apparently a relative of this man's came out and beat up one of the girls before this happened. And then she pulled out the weapons, and he came back and started filming her, making sure he caught her on film brandishing the weapons after he had already sexually harassed them. And then a female relative of his assaulted one of them, like to the point where she went to the hospital.
And what's funny is that young child now faces charges, from my understanding, for what happened, but nothing of the person who assaulted them.
I read a similar thing to Matt there. The thing I read said that he had propositioned the 12-year-old, and she had said no, and that he had hit her. So then her big sister came running out, ready to go. But you're talking about Scotland, you know?
Yeah, they don't mess around over there.
Well, you're in the sense that she probably already hit the knives. She put that's just handy there, you know.
I'm seeing it. Go ahead. Sorry.
All priceless.
I'm seeing it in the chat. You know, it's absolutely right. And it's one thing that I definitely omit during my videos. People saying this isn't immigration anymore. It's an invasion.
It's expansion. They're expanding their territory to ours. It's an expansion of a certain faith.
And keep in mind, folks, this has nothing to do with anybody's race or anything else. It's the fact that we have a lot of issues in our country plaguing our security, plaguing our job availability, plaguing our housing industry. The problem when you leave the door open and just say, come on in, is you're not going to get the people that are here to actually benefit your society. I've had other YouTubers talking about, wait, we need immigration. We need Indian migrants. We need all these other migrants from around the world because there's jobs that people don't want to do. And anybody who argues that is, what is it, woke right? They use those terms. But what's funny about that is that those aren't the people that are being brought in. It's the riffraff that's coming, and it's the people that are here to cause a problem.
If you commit a crime in another country, you should be immediately deported, especially if it's a violent crime, it's an offense against a child, something like that, any kind of assault, you should be immediately be deported.
Mm-hmm. David Brewer,
I can honestly see Trump, like somebody like a Trump, getting to a place where when an illegal comes in and commits an act that, say, kills American citizens, I can see Trump getting to the point where he will want that government held responsible for the individual's crime. Because it may actually have to go that far before governments start taking it seriously. Because the countries they're leaving are allowing this to happen. They're happy. They're getting rid of their riffraff.
Yeah. David Brewer jumps in with a $2 super chat. Celtic Canuck expansion. Amen, Celtic expansion, not immigration. Thank you for that.
Don't let anybody out there ever in your presence call it immigration again. Correct them. It's not immigration. It's expansion. Well, no, the language war is, the narrative is half the job, as you know. The left have changed the language on absolutely everything. They've got you saying all kinds of words you wouldn't. Unalived? Come on.
Well, take a look at
nobody actually put out the rule, but everybody started saying it. So, you know what? Two can play that game. So we're going to play that game. We're not calling it immigration anymore. It's expansion.
So I don't, and here's the thing is, I don't want to hold this strictly to East Indian. Here's the problem. We have a lot of people coming to this country who shouldn't be reaping the benefits that this country offers. So I don't know if you guys remember a while back, we had a video where I showed an East Indian migrant saying, look, the average Canadian makes 60-something thousand a year. If you go right now and claim asylum or temporary status, you can get up to $83,000 a year tax-free without having to give it back. It sounds like a vacation to me. Here's one of those people. This video's kind of gone viral around the social media today. It's a let's fix that. Let's put it like this. This is a refugee from Ukraine. So the country that we're funneling billions of dollars to is mad because she came here and she's only getting $3,000 a month, not the 80-something thousand a year she was promised. Take a listen to this.
You told me Canada gives everything for immigrants. Listen what I get. $3,000 at the beginning, but my Airbnb cost $2,000. No house, no credit score, no work, super cold winter, and 3 kids.
Oh no. You're only getting,
feel bad for her?
No kidding. You're only getting $3,000 a month for doing no work, no credit score. For shame, your Airbnb only costs $2,000 a month.
Must be a nice Airbnb.
This is what we're bringing into our country. And it's not just people that are causing crime. It's not just people that are making our streets less safe or lying about licenses in order to get jobs. These are people who are taking advantage of taxpayer dollars. We're funneling billions to the Ukraine. I always say the Ukraine. I know it makes people mad. We're funneling billions to Ukraine, but then we're bringing them here and giving them a bunch of money that they're wasting as well. Now they're complaining about it.
You should only be offering those kind of incentives for people to come to your country if you already have enough housing, jobs, and employment, and no homeless people. If your country is in order, then you can start petitioning and putting money into people coming in. If your country is not in order, you've got drug addicts on every single city street strung up. You've got homeless encampments. Nobody can find a job. Nobody can afford rent. The cost of food is getting ridiculous.
But if there's no foreign aid, how can our politicians funnel money through fake companies into
Well, they're just going to have to stop putting money in their own bloody pocket, aren't they? That's the great reset we need. Somebody needs to hit the flush button on the bureaucracy. We have 16 layers of management where we only need 3. And we have a crap ton of jobs that were invented just so the governments could say the job numbers went up this month because you hired 25% of Canadians. That's why the job numbers went up.
The biggest
you're
problem
protecting your own failure, and we're paying for what it costs for you to keep spending money on the things that make it look like you're doing your job while you're not doing your job.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest problems we have in our country right now is not only are we flooding our markets. Again, Pierre went on. I got to show a few things here. Pierre went on to say when he's talking about temporary workers. Keep in mind in the Maritimes, you can't get a job. In fact, I've seen posts even out here where people are saying, unless I'm from another country and a certain ethnicity, I can't get a job because of DEI hires. For those who don't understand how DEI works in Canada, businesses get a huge write-off on their wage by hiring people from another country, by diversity, equity, inclusion. So if you're from India, whether you have qualifications for a job or not, and I always use somewhere like McDonald's as the standard because a minimum wage job, everybody makes the minimum wage when they work in those jobs unless you're in management. So somewhere like Alberta, where the minimum wage, I believe, is $15 an hour, we'll say 15 just for safety's sake, $15 an hour, McDonald's says to somebody, well, I can hire somebody from Canada or I can hire a DEI. If I hire the Canadian worker, it's $15 an hour. If I hire the DEI employee who may not be as experienced, can't speak English, doesn't have qualifications, well, they can work here. And instead of $15 an hour, I give them $8 and the government gives me another $7 to subsidize them, meaning we make more profits.
And you're screwing Canada doing that.
So Pierre points out here, the Carney Liberals said that they would cap temporary foreign workers at 82,000 for all of 2025. Now, that was right before the election. Only halfway through the year, it's already 105,000, while our youth employment is at a 27-year low. Carney is depriving a generation of young people wages and jobs. So halfway through the year, we're at 105,000. Again, if we go another 6 months and it's exact same, that's 210,000 people versus the 82,000, which was already high that they were projecting. The problem with that, the problem again with the foreigners we're bringing in, is it's not necessarily ones who come here saying, I want a better life. I want to work hard. You bring in the scammers. I don't know if you guys have seen this video going around this week in Ontario. Doug Ford chimed in how concerned he is today because keep in mind, they took all the American liquor off the shelves. So they already swallowed that loss. Well, now you got people from other companies coming in and stealing from the liquor store. Now, I'm going to show this clip and then we're going to talk about this because this is disgusting.
Look, grinning.
Like a hockey bag full of liquor bottles. That's a lot.
Hey guys, you're on live TV, eh?
So I want to stop right there. Notice this guy walking out the door. Our government was nice enough to give him a hat with a Canadian flag on the side of it so he could appreciate our country. Well, they go into a liquor store, walk out the door. And right there, as Matt pointed out, the guy's got a hockey bag full of booze.
With wheels. For an easy escape.
Well, you know, he doesn't want to put his back out. That shit gets heavy, so.
And the police are told not to do anything about it. It's just petty crime. So the liquor stores in turn have to raise their prices to cover their losses. These guys get away with it. And they're not going home and drinking all this either. They're not drinking this. They're selling it. They're reselling it for more money.
Cheap labor has never been so expensive, has it?
It's ridiculous. So these guys are going to go home and sell this probably wherever they can, whether it's to friends, whether it's, as a street vendor, however they do it. But they're going to profit off of that while we're giving them $84,000 a year to live in our country. And the police do nothing about it. There's no stopping this. But if you defend your home when somebody breaks in, you'll go to jail. I don't understand how we're so backwards in our country. I'm going to get you guys to chime in. First, I got to get to a few honorable mentions. I don't want people thinking we forgot them. Nilok, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. You say it's not about race, yet there's a 2.8 million petition signed to save an Indian from consequences. It's not all of them, but it's always them. So, yeah. So I covered
million are bots.
Yeah, so I covered that on a video, and we showed the repetitive names over and over. It's being flooded with bots. It's not actually 2.8 million, but that's the mob coming in to make sure that their own doesn't get attacked. Thank you for the super chat.
See, their own. Like this should be your own.
Devil's advocate, it is usually those folks, though. But the point is, you've got someone from Ukraine here on video screaming, "I only get $3,000 a month." You've got Indian guys stealing from liquor stores. And this wasn't the only video of this happening this week. There's multiples. And again, Doug Ford comes out today saying, "Oh, geez, something's got to be done about this. We really need to talk about immigration." You let them in. Your bad policies.
The nerve check surprised that the obvious happened. The inevitable outcome occurred, and you're like on your fainting couch. How could this happen?
Absolutely. Brad Wilcox.
The door open.
Brad Wilcox, $5 super chat. Alberta's on its way to war with the government if they don't get that referendum question on the ballot. I'm assuming, on the ballot. We need change, 100% independence all the way. Brad, we're going to talk about that later in the stream. Thank you for the super chat. Michael Drader, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Expansionist still sounds too nice. This is an alien invasion.
You can't
I agree.
use invasion.
Thank you.
They're going to shut down that word. Trust
They'll
me.
shut it down. Yeah.
Expansion.
Bad anger management. $27.99 super chat. Thank you so much. We have lots of different cultures who have immigrated here, Philippines, Chinese, etc. Do we have any problems with them? No, those cultures are big on respect. The ones we're having problems with are not. And it goes back to that video of the girl in Scotland. I mentioned it in my video coverage of it. When you look at
It was a little badass though, wasn't she? Come on, give her credit.
It was amazing. But as soon as I saw it, I said, "You're damn right. The Scots don't F around." But I'll tell you, I said right out in that video, their culture, the Indian culture, promotes abuse of their women. It promotes child marriages. It promotes assault. It promotes for men to do basically whatever they please. I've heard people from their culture say that they hate themselves. They hate their culture. So, like, what are we supposed to do with them?
A lot of their culture descends from the open air bazaar. Like, it's all a big scam. Everybody's trying to scam everybody all the time and haggle over the price. And like, I'm giving you 6 goats. Those aren't real goats. And like,
you make them sound like the Ferengi.
They are. That's literally what they are. Except they don't even follow the rules of acquisition.
Yeah. Number 157. Yeah.
somebody sent me a video or a meme the other day of the Sand people in Star Wars, and then
that was me.
East Indian people. Was that you? And it's showing that there really isn't a difference. And when it comes to that kind of behavior, there really isn't, is there? It makes you wonder if George Lucas was saying the quiet part out loud in those movies. Jay Peterson, $10 super chat.
Safer word. I don't know. We'll
I think so. Jay Peterson, $10 super chat. Funny how every international sporting event there is a Ukrainian contingent there. I thought they were fighting for their sovereignty and their very survival. Look, I know. Thank you for the super chat, Jay. So I do know one couple. Or not a couple, a mom and a child who, when we were living in Calgary, they fled Ukraine to come live in Calgary. The little girl of the family made friends with my son. She was invited to his birthday party, and the mom came along because she didn't know anybody in Canada yet. And some friends of mine that were at the party, we had a really good discussion with her, with my wife, because her husband wasn't permitted to leave. He wasn't allowed to leave the country. They had to go and live while he is basically drafted to fight in this conflict. So there's certainly, and she was terrified of whether or not she's going to see her husband again. So they had to live in a small little shoebox apartment because it's all they could afford. They did not take any handouts from the government, so I gave them a lot of credit for that. But one thing that's really sad about the whole situation is that there are those who come to our country for asylum purposes that legitimately need asylum, that aren't scamming the system. Again, like I said, there are those who come here for the right reasons. There's those who come here to work and have a better life. There's those that say, like Pierre quotes, "We've won the lottery of life." But the problem when you have open doors, when you don't vet who's coming in, You end up with the sanctuary cities. You end up with, the couple bad eggs that spoil the bunch, so to speak.
I would, might I suggest a dress code? I can't get in a restaurant, no shoes, no shirt, no service, Like a code of conduct. You want to come in here? We're going to just need a code of conduct. These are the ways you're going to have to agree to behave, or you just can't come in.
Are you being that racist to say if you're Indian, you can't come in the store?
No, I'm saying if you can't agree to these rules of behavior, you can't come in because you're going to disrupt everybody else.
Of the guy crapping right in the chair in the Starbucks.
Yeah, and I didn't want to show it on stream because it is nasty. If you missed
it, I saw that. Oh yeah, you're right.
If you missed it and you thought Wasaga Beach was bad, it's a man with his pants around his crack, literally defecating on the floor of a Starbucks in Canada, while the staff stand there in shock. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Joelle, $27.99 super chat. Thank you so much. No message, just sending support. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Blockton, $5 super chat. Indian culture promotes shitting in the streets. Let's be honest. What good can come from that? Well, none. Thank you for the super chat. Michael, thank you for another $5 super chat. Star Trek lingo, can we all call the expansionists Klingons?
No, I mean, they have no honor.
Yes. I'm with my absolutely 100%. The Klingons have honor.
A.W. Bennett, $2 super chat. I vote for Ferengi. Too funny, but true. There you go. Welcome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Immigration has become a massive problem in this country. The government has failed with its policies. Another place where they failed with their policies is not too long ago, Justin Trudeau had explained that when Germany was petitioning for liquid natural gas, there was no market for it, and we were going to pass. Meanwhile, Donald Trump made trillions of dollars off of a long-term deal. Matt, you took notice of what Carney was doing overseas this week. Why don't we get into that? Why don't we get into other places the government has failed on us?
Let's go. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Let me bring it up for you guys.
You're going to bring it up. You should have had it up ahead of time. What is this?
Oh, sorry. I've got like 5 windows to share on this
When
topic.
We're on the Fringe, we're prepared, damn it. Let's go. Let's rock.
So Canada wants to sell LNG to Germany. Critics say it's a race against time. Well, of course it is, because the time was 10 years ago. And then 3 years ago, when Russia first invaded Ukraine, and then Germany and all the other European countries pulled back and said, okay, we're not buying all this from Russia anymore. Our glorious leader at the time said there was no financial case for us to sell LNG to Germany, which we all said at the time was, are you insane? Why would there not be? But now our glorious leader currently, Mark Carney, just went to Germany and he said, we're going to sign a declaration and we're going to start working towards, like, there's no deal signed here. I'll get to that in a minute, but we're going to go towards selling our LNG to Germany. So I'm going to close that one and I'll bring up the next one, Mr. Poilievre. Oh, it doesn't just skip right to the next one. That sucks. That would be easier.
It would be. I'll wait for you to bring that up. In the meantime, Marcus, $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Your country is being imploded from within by globalist agenda. Canada cannot economically sustain the evil agenda much longer. I'll get into that, but thank you for the super chat. Let's continue.
So, as Poilievre points out and is highlighted here, they made a statement. They will coordinate and intensify existing exchange formats between stakeholders already active in the field of critical minerals. This is not legally binding and does not create any financial commitment. So basically what it is, as we talked about last week, it's a politician going to a country with another politician, having a big giant meeting, getting all the media there to take pictures and say a bunch of words that make it look like they're doing stuff when there's nothing actually being done.
So what you're saying is it's a media circus.
It's like giving your girlfriend a promise ring when you're 13. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Business as usual.
They're promising to promise to do something sometime, maybe.
So it's a media circus being ran by a Carney, is what you're saying.
You could say that. You would
be correct.
So meantime, in the years since, after Trudeau said that there was no business case for this, and that Mark Carney decided it was all of a sudden a good idea, this is what's been happening. We've been exporting all of our natural gas to the U.S., and they are selling it to Europe at a profit. So they're buying it cheap off of us and then reselling it to Europe and making money off of us. So this is our how our country deals with things, I guess. Why would we want to export it ourselves and make profits when we could just sell it to Donald Trump and he can laugh at us while he sells it back to Europe for a profit? Because they have the facilities and the ships to deal with it, and we don't.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
It's hard to think that we're here in a time where the country's being run by a banker, keep in mind. A banker who claims to know economics.
Spell it with a W.
Yeah, a wanker. But he runs the country and says, oh, I know economics. I know everything. He bankrupted England. You guys remember Liz Truss being interviewed on Trump's inauguration saying,
she tried to warn you.
Yeah, don't bring him in. He'll bankrupt you just like he did to England. You'd think if he was such a great banker, he'd know about resale markets and he'd know about, oh, geez, we're doing all this work and Trump's just reaping the benefits. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's, aside from being a banker, though, is he not a major investor in certain companies that may stand to do quite well from this?
Probably. I'm not going to defend Carney, but I mean, anything that's happening right now isn't a result of anything Carney is doing because he's only been here for 3 months. He hasn't fucking done anything yet.
Well, he's not in charge, is he? It's not Carney, it's not Trudeau. It's whoever's telling them what to do.
Things as large as a country's economy take months, if not years, to actually see the effects of decisions that are made. So the things that are happening to us right now are probably the result of decisions from 2 years ago during the Trudeau regime. That's how long it generally takes for things to turn. So, I mean, I won't give him crap on this, but I mean, he's just continuing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Snow with $2 super chat. Where's Clowney going to get LNG when the West goes?
Where's he going to get it right now? They haven't approved any extraction projects in years. How's he going to get it anywhere? There's no pipeline to the West Coast, and there's no proper port facility for LNG on the East Coast. And there's no pipeline to the East Coast either, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, so, and it's funny because that's one of the things Pierre brought up in his amazing press conference from, I believe it was New Brunswick today, where he said, look, this is all just theater. You know, he's sure Wab Canoe will come in and have something to say about it because that's what happened when you had Danielle and Scott Moe coming in saying we're going to do a pipeline into Ontario. So one of the things that's funny, and I brought up in an upcoming video, John Bolton, a good friend of the channel, had a video out today where he was talking about how Saskatchewan and Alberta have hundreds of projects on the go, not just one or two. And what's going to happen, what he feels is going to happen here, is even if this line from Alberta to Churchill goes through, Carney is going to parade around like, hey, look how great we are. We threw you a bone. You know, we threw the West some table scraps. We got them a pipeline to Churchill. We're going to do LNG. Isn't that great, everybody? We saved the day. Alberta doesn't want one project. Saskatchewan doesn't want one project. The premiers may act like they're satisfied, but Albertans and those who live in Saskatchewan are going to be pissed and say, that's it. Like it's like inviting a kid to a birthday party and saying, here's your cake. And you give them, you know, a sliver of icing. You can't do that, you know,
after you starve them for 5 years first.
Yes.
Then you give them the sliver of icing. Yes. Wab and Carney both talked today about, I mean, I touched on this last week about them opening the port of Churchill. And here's Poilievre 3 years ago saying the same thing. So once again, they're recycling ideas. I mean, I've been saying it for 10 years that we need to do this. And here's Poilievre saying it 3 years ago. And now, once again, Mark Carney is going to act like it was his idea to open the port of Churchill and
do we care,
start
though?
shipping things out through there.
So long as it gets done, who takes the credit? I really don't care.
Like,
how much stuff doesn't get done because somebody doesn't want somebody else to get the credit? Like, it's ridiculous.
I will be completely happy that it's done, but it just irritates me that there are people like me who've been saying this for a long time. And like I said, Poilievre said it 3 years ago in a press conference that we should be using Churchill as a port to get our resources that we extract out to market. And now all of a sudden, Mr. Elbows Down is going to say, oh, look at what a good idea I had. Vote for me again.
It's funny because Pierre really put Carney on notice today, I think. What we can expect.
Wait till they come back.
Right. What we can expect, as I've been saying from the get-go, is good opposition. Pierre has shown that he's willing to be a little bit more based. He's going to start showing some teeth. He has to. Let's face it. He has to if he's going to stick around.
Get in there.
But while Keith Wilson and those who show up on live streams talk about, I think Mark Carney is going to hide when it comes to question period, things like that. I do think that's going to be the case. However, honeymoon phase is over, folks. Pierre is not going to let Mark Carney and his nutsoid wacko ideologies skate. So it's going to be real interesting to see where we go at this point, because while the elbows up crowd may be buying it, the rest of Canada is not. In fact, we've seen some of the elbows up crowd already tweeting out they feel duped. So who knows where things are going to go.
I got one more slide on this. So it's from Pierre again. The Germans built an entire LNG terminal in 194 days.
Yep.
So the capacity to do so, I mean, we're not less technologically advanced than the Germans. There's no reason why we can't do these things other than government preventing people and interfering.
And it's funny that's less time. That's less time to build that plant than Mark Carney's actually been in office. So imagine what could be happening if we didn't have the red tape that we have in our country because of our government.
Well, 16 layers of management where you only need 3.
And just the laws that they've passed, like, for example, the one Carney's talking about how he has to have unanimous consent from Indigenous populations before we can do anything. Like, how are you going to get a pipeline from Alberta to Churchill right through all of that with getting unanimous consent? It's never going to happen.
No, and you're not going to get, and that's exactly why, is because it's his way of washing his hands and saying, hey, listen, guys, think about it as like a parent with their kids. Oh, I said I'd give you candy, but you guys didn't clean up after dinner. You didn't wash the dishes. I mean, that's your problem. I'm not the bad guy here. That's what Mark Carney's doing with the rest of Canada. Oh, guys, I'm happy to give you a pipeline. I'd love to, but the Indigenous, we have to consult with them. They don't want it. Or Manitoba said they don't want it. Or, Quebec, they're not in agreement. It's not socially acceptable. My hands are tied, guys. I really wish I could help you. How stupid does he? Don't answer this, but how stupid does he really think Canadians are?
I mean, he won an entire campaign based on this.
You know what those elbows up are for, don't you? It's so you got something to lean on when you bend over for Trump. That's what the elbows up are for. You balance yourself later.
Maj Flip with the $10 super chat. Freedom for all Canadians. We it now. I'm assuming is we want it now. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Biggs, $2 super chat. Elbows up, more like head up your ass. Oh, yeah, that's true. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Let's I want to remind everybody, by the way, anybody who's late into the stream, don't forget 500 likes, free memberships tonight, according to Carson. 1,000 likes. We're giving away one of the calendars that cursed Mark Carney fingers up calendars, the new Unacceptable Fringe collaboration calendars. One lucky member of the Patriots Club will be drawn for that. So get those likes in the stream, folks. Let's see if we can get there before the end of the stream. Welcome to everybody who's missed it out. Mark Carney's left the door open. And again, when we talk about projects that Alberta is going to walk into, I got to talk a little bit about today's video with Danielle, because I brought up a concern when it comes to independence, because this is going to feed into projects that are happening in the country. A lot of people lost their shit because I dare question the almighty Danielle on a topic of discussion. I want to bring in this article that I seen sent my way because of Cam Davies about the Alberta Republican Party calling for a binding referendum on sovereignty. I don't want to spend too much time on this article because we spent it on the stream or on the video today. But here's what I want to go over. And this is one of the things I find funny. I'm going to read her quote, and then I'm going to talk about why I've got issue with this. The Republican Party called on Alberta Premier Danielle Smith to essentially bypass any kind of petitions and just call a referendum. They said she has the power to do so. She should. Danielle Smith came out with a quote that made me question what the hell is going on. Her quote, we're not putting forward a question on the issue of independence. We are putting forward questions on how we can be a bit more like Quebec. Should we collect our own taxes? Should we have even more control over our own immigration system? Should we put the question of an Alberta pension plan to the people, said Smith. So she says, we're not putting forward a question on the issue of independence. What I said in my video is that she needs to be a little bit more clear on that. Is it the UCP that isn't putting forward that question? Or if the Alberta Prosperity Project gets their petition approved, if a question that challenges the Constitution is approved and they were to attain their signatures, is Danielle Smith going to allow that question to be on a spring ballot? Or is she saying it's just the UCP that isn't putting it forward? One of the biggest reasons I ask that question is because Jason Kenney, back when he was, Premier of Alberta, Fat Stalin, he ran a referendum. He ran a referendum on transfer payments. And of course, an overwhelmingly amount of Albertans supported that. No, we shouldn't be paying any transfer payments. He did nothing with it. So this is where I say that the Premier needs to, at some point, give some indication, at least to say, should citizens be successful in a question about the state of Alberta remaining in Canada, I will honor it and put it on a spring ballot. And should that, the bigger question is should they get a resounding, let's say a never vote. Let's say 70% of Albertans vote in favor of Alberta being its own sovereign nation. Would Danielle honor that referendum vote? Or would she just say, well, now I'm going to use that as ammunition for us to be more like Quebec? These are general concerns. Now, a lot of people jumped down my throat and said, Fringe, you have no right to say that. You're jumping to conclusions. I love the abuse that I get online, especially the people who think that they can talk to me like they're my parents chatasizing me for stealing or something. Because there's people who come in and call me like a piece of shit and things like that when they're talking to me. I just love that because it's over the internet, people think they can be so abusive. But the one thing that was really funny, I want to drag out of that comment section where people get upset and say, well, Fringe, you're jumping to conclusions. She meant the UCP. She meant that her party's not putting it together. Why would you be so stupid and naive to make a video about this? Well, I'm looking for clarity. Because when I put out the video, somebody in the comment section said, hey, Fringe, your title is misleading because you said that Danielle Smith shoots down Alberta Independence. She's just made a quote that the UCP isn't putting it forward. So there's a double standard here on the internet. I need to be clear.
Gunny put it forward.
Well, I have to be clear on my titles, right? I can be held accountable for what I say in my titles. I'm being misleading. But if Danielle Smith says we're not putting forward a question of independence on a ballot, suddenly I'm a criminal for questioning it. So that's the problem that I have with this, is that you can't have it both ways. I have to try and be as unbiased as possible. I do not like calling out Danielle because she does have my vote. And until I do hear from her people, I'm not going to say that she's giving the finger on Alberta Independence. In fact, if you look at her blow up that she had at her Alberta Next panel the other day, I think she's very much in the corner of independence. But before we go to the round table here, there's one thing I want to touch on because October 1st is coming up.
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
Here's Danielle Smith's 12 demands to Mark Carney. None of these have been fulfilled, by the way. So let's take a look at those. So as of October,
had a discussion about them being fulfilled.
Right. So as of October 1st, Danielle Smith, the question is are we going to get rowdy? Or are we going to have our unity crisis? Is
so
she
we just
gonna
ignored her, basically.
Or are we just going to ignore it? Here's her 12 demands. Repeal Bill C-69, lift BC tanker ban, scrap oil and gas emissions cap, end clean electricity regulations, reverse plastics ban, cancel net zero car mandate, return carbon tax to provinces, guarantee energy corridors, no export taxes on oil and gas, end equalization subsidies, stop energy censorship, fix Jasper and Banff mismanagement. Not a single one of those has or will be handled or done.
Oh, it was.
So yeah, or what is exactly it. So what happens October 1st when none of that happens? I want to touch on the transfer or the returning carbon tax to provinces. Mark Carney has announced carbon tax 2.0. I've got a video coming out about that. Keep your eyes open for that one.
Your face, Matt.
Carbon tax is being reinstated, and it's going to affect. It's going to
calling
affect
it something else.
It is being called something else. Again, I'll get into that in another video. But he's already gone against it, so it's a very clear sign that he's not going to bow to any of these demands. And you're going to see Mark Carney turn around now and say, well, with respect, I put in a pipeline from Alberta to Churchill for LNG. Well, those aren't the 12 demands. So what's going to happen October 1st? What are we going to see from Danielle October 1st? Is it going to affect people's votes for Danielle if she doesn't take a more aggressive
She's going to look
stance?
impotent if something doesn't happen. She's just rendered herself impotent.
And that's what I'm worried about. Because in my video, I brought up the fact that, look, some people may shift their votes towards somebody like Cam Davies, who truly says he wants independence for this province. The problem, and one thing, again, the video is getting long. One of the things I don't touch on in that video, if we follow Cam Davies and split the vote, it guarantees a win for Naheed Nenshit to take over the province.
No, you don't want that.
Absolutely not. So,
you really
this
don't
isn't,
want that.
It's not just a fight for independence at this point. It's a fight for Danielle to be clear, to have some clarity, to show where she stands to an extent. I understand that Danielle, because we've talked about it so many times.
We know she's got it in her.
She can't come out and say independence. She can't pick a side. But if she just took the stance, like if people believe mainstream media and they look at that article from CTV and say, well, she's not putting a vote on a ballot. What's that going to do when 78% of her party back independence? It's not going to benefit her or help her at all. One iota.
First,
I got
to go back. Oh,
yep. No, let me get these honorable mentions out of the way and then we'll get to it. Jay Peterson, $20 super chat. Canada has been a socialist nightmare since 1968 when Pierre Trudeau became PM. We have been in a form of communism for 10 years. Longer than 10 years. Justin just really hammered it home. Thank you for the super chat. Snow with a $5 super chat. She really needs to clarify that. I'm hoping tonight's next panel in Lloyd, we see somebody push for that clarification. I've reached out to Danielle's media. I've reached out to Danielle. I asked before filming that video, can I get some clarification on what you meant by that? And I haven't heard back from either. So until I do, folks, as a truthful internet journalist, if you want to call it that, I have to be unbiased. I have to report on it. I have to talk about it because my email box is flooding with people saying, what about APP? What about my support for Danielle? What am I going to do, Derek? What's happening here? Okay, let's get a video out and talk about it. I don't need, you won't even believe the emails I received today from viewers who just wanted to write a long rant about, oh, Unacceptable Fringe was the uncomfortable fool today because he went after Danielle Smith, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even read the Yitz's email.
Go after her. You're asking the question, what the hell's going on here? Like you're asking for an explanation. You're not accusing her of anything.
You have to be able to keep your own side accountable just as much as the other side.
Absolutely.
If your chosen politician is like, hey, what are you doing over here? You know, like, you're not like, you know, F her, I'd hate her. You're asking legitimate questions like, hey, what's going on here? What are you doing with this? Can I have an answer? Which I know is like asking a politician to go murder a baby, asking for a direct answer to a question.
And here's the thing is like, I don't want people thinking I'm getting my panties in a knot because people got mad. The problem I have with this is that, did we not learn anything from Pierre's campaign? Did we not learn anything from everybody passing the buck and saying, hey, he's just got to get those votes in Toronto. Let's just be quiet. He's playing 4D chess, everybody. We know what's happening. How did it work out for us by doing that? By not holding any transparency or accountability. Everybody does this false sense of politician worship, and I don't understand it because I support Danielle. I've told her during interviews, I think she's the greatest premier we've had since Ralph Klein. But if something is awry, I have to question it. I have to talk about it. And if we don't, that allows them the opportunity to skate. So what do? Where do we go from here?
Honestly, it's out of character. Of course, you're going to notice. It's the first thing she did when she became premier was the Alberta Sovereignty Act. That whole thing. And that's the trend she's been on since she got in. She's been strong. She's been independent. She's been unafraid to put those questions up there and make those demands. So for all of a sudden to get very vague and unclear.
That is the thing I was going to bring up. It's a very recent
How can we
thing,
not be suspicious?
This vagueness.
You know what's funny? I see comments like this, Man Spider, saying, you look at healthcare situation in Alberta and think that it's the greatest Alberta's ever been. Bruh. First off, I hate when people use bro and bruh, dude, and I can't take them serious. But here's the thing. And it's funny because Danielle brought this up in her rant. Danielle brought this up. Danielle brought this up in her rant. So you know what? I'll actually let Danielle answer this one. Let me show what Danielle had to say, because we got a video coming about this one tomorrow.
It's so skibbity.
She didn't say bro, dude, or skibbity, or alpha, or any of those things. Take a listen to what Danielle had to say when because we had this, there's plants all over these Alberta Next panels, whether they're coming from Tom Lukaszuk, whether they're coming from the NDP Nenshi team that puts people in here to cause ruckuses. Edmonton's Alberta Next panel turned into a shit show because it was just people saying, I can scream louder than I can speak louder than the premier by screaming and squealing. Shirts. Yeah. So take a listen to how Danielle shut it down last night. This was incredible. I'll give her credit for this one.
What we're talking about tonight is Ottawa do you want to hear the answer? Ottawa overtaxing us. I mentioned that at the beginning of the evening, that our program costs are 70% of all tax dollars. We only collect 40%. Ottawa collects 60%, and then they use political means to transfer it. Alberta, year after year, has $20 to $25 billion that is siphoned out of our system to go to Ottawa so that it can be spent mostly in Quebec, but also in other places that vote Liberal. We have been watching this for years. $600 billion in the last 40 or 50 years that have been taken out of this province. You don't think we might be able to do a little bit more on social spending if those $20 to $25 billion stayed here? You don't think we'd be able to cut taxes a bit if those $20 to $25 billion stayed here? It is
Go on, Danielle.
$1,000 per Albertan that every single year gets transferred out of this province for political reasons so that the Liberals can continue to spend it in places that vote Liberal. That is what is happening in the province and in the country.
Thank you.
So Danielle sounding like she came out of an APP meeting there. I think it was absolutely awesome. So this is where I'm saying I back Danielle. I think she's doing a fantastic job. We lost the Celtic there. She'll come back. This is where I think Danielle's doing a fantastic job. I'm not going to fault her for what she said. That's a based statement. I mean, but there's your answer when you say, well, you think healthcare is great and blah, blah, blah. What about all the money we're losing? You bring that back into the province and then tell me our healthcare system sucks. Then tell me that, our funding for education sucks. It's all getting doled out of the province. And not only that, these are run by crown corporations. Our healthcare isn't Danielle Smith. It's Alberta Health Services. It's a separate entity. Danielle doesn't make the rules. She can only appoint somebody into Alberta Healthcare to kind of suggest and monitor what's going on there. She has no pull.
To try and fight an established system 50 years old, full of people and entrenched systems and politics, and it's a mess.
No, he's right. He's right, because when she goes to make that decision, the people being recommended to her, the person making those recommendations, politics top to bottom is just riddled with corruption. We dual purpose serving people that you can't trust anybody who's recommending anybody. You really can't. So you're right. You are absolutely right, because whoever she chooses, whoever recommends that person, she really doesn't have that much control or that much knowledge of the pick that she's making. You can't. It's so riddled that you can't. You don't know whose side anybody's on.
What really pisses me off is that everybody acts like Danielle Smith's the queen of Alberta, where she just says, this is what I decree, and then all of a sudden everybody follows it. She has a whole party to contend with. She has bills to pass just like anything. She can say, I agree with this or I disagree with that. It doesn't make it a law. She can't just snap her fingers.
Well, it's not about her, is it? She's supposed to be representative of the will of the people.
And that's where I understand her comment about the ballot to an extent. What I was saying today is she needs to be a little more clear, because you're going to cause an uproar of people that say, what do you mean it's not going on a ballot? Right? You have to, and again, I always put it back to people who yell at me about video titles or anything else. If you're going to yell at me about that, you got to question, hey, Danielle, you need to be a little more clear when you're talking about this so people understand what you're talking about. You know, is it a shutdown altogether? Is it a partial? I will tell you right now, this Danielle that we just saw, that's the Danielle I want to keep seeing, especially come October 1st, when Mark Carney fails on those 12 principles.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens when that date comes and what happens.
Here's how I tried. She's lying. Ontario's $400 billion in debt. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't. Mike Freedom Honey, $2 super chat. Should have voted OSB. There you go. Mike, thank you so much.
The only clear
thank
solution.
You so much. That reminds me, folks, anybody who came in late, don't forget our Vote OSB shirts are now in the store. They're on sale for the first 48 hours. All profits, whether it's the t-shirts,
want to find
the hoodies,
the vote
the mugs.
count. I really do.
Yeah, Mike, if you have a vote count for OSB, throw it up in the chat. All profits are going to support our veterans, so make sure you buy them. They're limited. They're only going to be available for a short time.
Speaking of our veterans, Mark Carney wants us to go put boots on the ground in Ukraine.
I saw that. We talked about that.
Did you?
I talked about it in a video. I mean, what's your take on that?
I mean, I'm a libertarian, so my take is, I mean, that's not our war. We already give you X amount of dollars. And every other country is giving you X amount of dollars, and every other country is giving you military equipment and hardware and assistance and whatever else. Yeah, all 31 boots. I don't see how that helps Canada.
Well, the problem is when you look at the Ukraine war, one of the biggest issues going on right now is Zelensky won't allow an election. If Zelensky were to allow an election, this would be over in 10 minutes because the people of Ukraine would vote in a different leader, one that wants to end this stuff. Zelensky wants to keep laundering money and doing his little begathon scheme. So the issue with this is it's a forever war.
Well, let's be realistic here. I mean, Zelensky knows, doesn't he? He knows that when this is over, he knows what's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Well, he's going to disappear with whatever amount of money he's stashed away in a bank account somewhere.
Okay, we'll be told that, but we know what's really going to happen. He's not going to live happily ever after.
It's a really... What I can't stand is that you have, including Danielle, by the way, who posted out about Ukraine the other day, that we all stand with Ukraine. Everybody stand with Ukraine. How many years are we going to keep doing this? Like, we can send our support. We can say, we're sorry to hear about that. Send some peacekeepers, whatever you want to do. But the billions and billions and billions of dollars, while people in Vancouver are dealing with what's called, the zombie fenties that are bent over, hooked on narcotics. They can't get any help. They can't get out of the streets. We've got tent cities. We've got immigration problems. Like, fix your own problems at home. That $2 billion could go a lot further in Canada than it could going to Ukraine.
If a zombie outbreak happened while you were in Vancouver downtown, you might not even notice.
No, especially if you're in Hastings. Spartacus saying, I stand with peace. I do too. We all want peace. But again, the only way they're going to get that as quick as they want to is with an election. So that's where I'm saying countries can support Ukraine. Guys like Donald Trump can turn around. Hey, listen, I support Ukraine. Okay. I think they're wonderful. Have an election. Support them all you like, but support them to have an election. Support them to allow their people to decide if they want to continue on with this forever war or if they just want to call it quits.
Dragging boys off the street, for God's sake, and throwing them onto the front lines just to mass feed them in either cannon fodder. They're just being fed into a meat grinder at this point.
I'm not going to lie. Since it's basically been a stalemate, I'm not going to say I stopped paying attention, but it's a very cursory amount of paying attention to it. I was paying a lot of attention to it for years. I'm a big kind of like a war history buff and military. I'm a lot more involved in global geopolitics and economics in my hobby studying than local Canadian. Yeah, it's just Zelensky refuses to negotiate any territory being lost to Russia, territory that they already hold and you can't take back. So what's more realistic here? You negotiate some sort of settlement that involves you conceding some territory, because that's how it is going to be. Like, Russia has the territory and you do not have the means to take it back from them. So what do? Just keep fighting forever?
Well, yes, it's a forever war.
Well, that is a sacrifice I am prepared to make.
I'm not going to try to do my terrible Zelensky impression again, but it's the reason that we call it a forever war. The problem is that you have countries like Canada that keep shoveling money into it like it's a coal burning furnace, saying, we'll just keep throwing billions and billions of dollars. If the money's flowing in, I'll tell you right now, if they cut off the money, if Canada said, yeah, we're broke, we don't have any more money to give you. If US said, we got no money, sorry, go get out of here, go have a lollipop, see ya. If UK, EU, whoever, if all countries around the world told Zelensky, yeah, the bank's empty, buddy, that war would cease tomorrow. Because the begathon would be over, right? If you don't have money to fund the war, you got to go to the table and talk.
Mm-hmm. But like, I'm curious, actually, what is that $2 billion that we're going to send them doing? Like, are they buying bullets with it? Tank? Where are they getting them from? Like, because the U.S. is giving them these munitions, right?
Hang on, I'm going to bring up Ukraine's $2 billion because it does state I believe there were drones. It's going 680 million will support purchases from a list of items prioritized by NATO, including U.S. equipment, munitions, and air defense capabilities. 835 million to procure urgently needed supplies for vehicles, arms, and medical equipment. Canada will contribute 220 million to buy drone, counter drone, and electric warfare capabilities as a joint venture.
It really does send a bad message, doesn't it? I mean, like, you're continuing to fund a war while a peace negotiation is going on. It's like,
but it doesn't add up to $2 billion.
I know. The whole thing, it's just off.
So 835 million plus another 220. So that's roughly $1 billion, and then another 680 million. Where's the other $300 million going? That's not in here.
Zelensky's wife to shop in Paris.
In their belly.
Right, it's going in my belly. I'll tell you what, the people of Ukraine need a prescription.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
How? More cowbell. Andrea T. becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much for joining the Patriots Club. Guys, where's our likes at? Have we hit 500 likes yet? We haven't hit 500 yet. We got to hit those 500 likes. There's member giveaways happening at 500 likes. I doubt we'll hit 1,000, but hey, we're going to be giving these calendars away from now, probably all the way up till Christmas, guys. 1,000 likes on this stream gets a free calendar draw for the Fingers Up Carney 2026 calendar. So get those likes in. Michael with a $20 super chat. Canada sends troops to Ukraine, then Russia gets a ballistic on Carney. Then Russia attacks Canada. USA invades Canada to fight Russia. Alberta becomes 51st state. Send the troops and maybe Nickelback for morale.
Oh.
I feel like Nickelback would have the opposite effect on morale. Send Nickelback to Russia.
What's his name? Chad Kroger or whatever. He'd come off the plane with the rest of the band, and they'd both Putin and Zelensky. Well, we don't want them. We didn't just take them back and just take. Okay, you can send those guys home. That's no problem. Thank you so much for the super chat.
I kind of mentioned it last week, but like, so many people think of Russia as this country way over there. It's in Europe. It's over there. Like, they're just over the North Pole from us. Like, they're practically neighbors.
OIO
I saw a
says
tweet
we're
the
only
other day.
It's quite a ways over that North Pole, though, isn't it?
344 likes. Can we not get up to 500, guys? Let's go. Get it up there. Hit that
But
thumbs
there's nothing between us and them but ice.
Ted saying, until we straighten out a system of voting in Canada and Alberta, nothing will change. My friends are dying out there. They've given up. I mean, that essentially is the biggest part of the problem. And it's one that I've talked about to a great extent, is that, well, we're never going to get any serious discussions at the table for as long as the Liberals, like, you have to understand that elections in this country are like a mathematical equation now. The Liberals know how to rig the game. You just have to know about the people. I had a guy yelling at me this week.
And you can import votes.
I won't bring up the image again because, Matt, you sent it to me last week. I had it. Let me see if I can find that again. I said I wouldn't, but I'm gonna, just because I always get yelled at in the chat when I mention Ontario, and people say, "Don't talk about Ontario. Don't say that I'm the bad guy for voting and everything." And we showed that. I don't have it here. The 50% of people live below this line. Maybe Matt, just bring it up on your screen. So,
I'll find it real
those
quick.
who don't understand, who live in Canada, who don't understand how our elections work, there's a certain demographic of the country where 50% of Canadians live in, a certain land space that the people of Canada live in, and they control the outcome of our elections. Not to mention a stacked Senate where nothing is going to get done. Do we have that screen yet, Matt? I don't think so. I don't see it up here. Until we have reform, until we have electoral reform, the Liberals essentially, like we saw in the last federal election, are able to do things like take the Trump card, for example, and say, look, everybody has TDS. Everybody hates Donald Trump. So let's just make it all about Donald Trump, all about tariffs, all about getting a new deal, all about 51st state, all about how Trump is going to come in and ruin the world. So here you go. For anybody who says, I'm so sick of you talking about Ontario. Well, look at this line. This in red here, this area in red is what decides the outcome of our elections. So when I say Ontario in a video, this is what I'm talking about. Ontario and Quebec, this small pocket of the country where half of the country resides. Half the inhabitants of Canada live here. So
That's
for as long as
Mega
that
City 1, I like to call it.
Yeah, so for as long as that exists, folks, the Liberals have this narrowed down to a science. Here's how we stay in power. And if our candidate isn't polling very well, we swap them out for somebody else like they did with Mark Carney. Get Trudeau out of here, bring in Mark Carney, talk about putting your elbows up. We all know that they've already admitted that they were talking about this campaign for months before it happened. You guys ever remember the news reporter who stopped Mark Carney on his way out of the House? 6 months before the election, and said, hey, Mr. Carney, there's rumor that you're going to run for prime minister. And he says, oh, I'm not, I have no interest in politics. I'm not going to comment on that. And he walked out of the building. He was there talking about elbows up before we even knew it was a thing. This is where we're going to stay. Unless the country gets their shit together and people decide we're going to go. Independence is the only way forward. Keith Wilson said it. I stand behind that. I do believe that. And a lot of people, well, you just think Alberta's better than everybody, don't you? First off, yeah, it is better than everybody else because I live here. Second of all,
you know what? I'm in Ontario. I'm not going to argue. I wish I was in Alberta. So
it's not about Alberta being better. It's about, look, we have the capacity to actually have some skin in the game. We're Canada's credit card. So if we leave, it creates a domino effect for other provinces to say, all right, party's over. I guess we're going home. We're never going to
just different ways of life. Like, you can't govern Alberta that is full of farms and oil field workers and gas workers the same as you govern the streets of a mega city like Toronto. Like, it's not the same kind of person.
We got Doug Ford.
Well, he's basically a liberal.
Like enough said, it is Doug Ford. Help us.
But even the cultures are different from east to west. And that's where I say Justin Trudeau created one of the greatest divides of all time. Before, it used to be just competing sports teams. Now you've got different cultures on the east versus the west. You've got, depending on where you look, But if you go to rural Alberta versus rural Ontario, people who have two different visions on how life in Canada should exist. One believes in bathrooms for everybody. Another believes in men and women only in their designated washrooms. You've got one believing that Mark Carney has the best interests for Canada. The other saying, I want to get independence. You've got one who says, we should all go get our jabs and just do whatever the government tells us. The other says, here's the finger, get bent. I'll let you guys decide which one's coming from where. But that's the problem with Justin Trudeau's divisive politics that we've seen over the last decade, is it's actually divided the country more than people think. When you go on to X or when you're sitting in a YouTube comment section, and this is what I was talking about earlier, people feel the right to abuse each other just for speaking out about what they don't like about their country right now if it doesn't align with East or West ideologies. It kind of reminds me of the 90s.
How so?
It reminds me of the 90s with the East and West, the rapper wars,
oh, yes.
The East Side, West Side stuff, back when Ice Cube was saying West Side is the best side.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that sort of thing.
You had to grow up in the 90s to get it. Here's something I'll share. Here's something I'll share. This is another East ideology that people are getting with. Royal Bank of Canada. I don't know if you guys seen this. Banking for newcomers in Canada. Special offer for new Canadians. Get up to
I'm a relatively new Canadian. Maybe I can get in on that.
Here you go. Get up to 12% cash back on a new RBC Cashback MasterCard for the first 3 months. You can get up to a $15,000 credit card limit and no monthly fee banking for a year. 12%.
But of course, I mean, debt is the currency of the world. We're all little debt machines. We're a self-perpetuating debt from the moment we're born. That's all we're worth, really, to government.
So what
one of the
happens
funny
if
things. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
What happens if you're not from here? You come here, you get a $15,000 credit card, you spend all 15 grand, you get 12% cash back, and then you just go back to where you came from. What are they gonna do about it?
Well, and Canadians got to pick up the tab.
I'm sure there are people doing that. I am absolutely
yeah.
sure there are people doing that, Matt.
Oh, I guarantee you that lady from Ukraine earlier. That
probably
was
more than
saying,
once.
I'm only getting 3,000. It's and multiple names, same family members. I guarantee it. So it's funny because Mrs. Fringe and I have one of those credit cards. In fact, people always say, "How do you afford your arcades, going on vacations, things like that?" We literally put everything on our credit card and then pay it down to a zero balance every month. So when we buy groceries, our gas, the kids' school fees, everything, put it on the credit card. I think we get something like 3% or 2-point-something% back of everything that we do. But I also have a business line. So anything I buy for the YouTube channel, the company it all goes into a cashback option. And then when we cash that out, I use it to buy fun things that we normally wouldn't buy, or we go on a vacation or things along those lines. But you really got to buy a lot to get any significant money back. Like, I think the largest we've ever gotten back. Yeah, the most we've ever gotten back was somewhere around, I think it was $600. And that was because we took the kids to Disney that year and I booked it on the credit card and then paid it off immediately. So the idea was it boosts our credit rating by always having a zero balance. No, we did it with book royalties a few years back. They always wanted to go, and before money ran out, I said, okay, we're going to do it now because then we'll never be able to. Like you said, you got to be royalty practically to go. So it's now or never. But nonetheless, we got a larger return that year because we put a massive trip on the credit card, paid it off instantly, and also, like I said, boosts our credit score because it's always at a zero balance. But 12% is unheard of. But the banks go, hey, let's bring that in for newcomers. Let's just create a bigger problem in this country than we already have. Like Matt brings up. What if they don't pay it back and they leave? Who's going to foot that
up? I'll bet it's happened.
You're going to send the collection agency to India or Pakistan?
Mumbai or something? No.
Ukraine. We have to say Ukraine. We can't be racist and say that it's just East Indians.
Although at least the call centers will understand each other. That would be convenient.
Unbelievable. This is the joke of the country we live in, folks. But hey, let's end it on a positive note. Where's the likes at? Somebody tell me where the likes are at right now. Where are we? Have we gotten our 500 likes yet? I'm probably willing to bet no. Where's our likes at, folks? Somebody throw them up in the chat. 372? We're 128. 128 likes away from getting free memberships. Guys, hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. Jeez Louise. Let's see if we can hit 500 before the end of the stream. We're obviously not going to be gifting away a calendar tonight unless we get 600 and some odd likes in the next 20 minutes. Let's move on to Q&A. Anything you guys want to talk about? What is this? Can one of our mods ban this guy out? I can't stand these kind of people. Dude, you only care about your views? No, we need engagement. We need engagement. People need to talk and see about this stuff. It's marketing. I'm not even going to explain it. Get out of here. Throw your questions in. Anything. Get them out of here. Give them a lollipop. Tell them to move on. Throw your questions, your Q&A in here, folks. Anything you guys want to talk about. As long as it's appropriate, we'll answer it. It can be for myself, Celtic, Matt, all of us. Let's get into the Q&A, shall we?
My dad really wanted to shout him out. He was the guy cooking salmon way at the beginning of the stream, the most Canadian man in the world, just so you guys are aware. That was my dad in the chat. He really wanted me to mention that.
Oh, okay. Aaron Morrison say, be gone to Uganda.
I'm Matt's dad.
Let's...
I tried, why can't we join BRICS? There's a question for you. Because we're too tied to the WEF, that's why. Because there are a globalist side and there's the BRICS side, and they're having an arm wrestling match right now. And we are too tied to the globalists to join BRICS. That's what I think anyway. What about you guys?
I don't think the BRICS have the economic negotiating power to challenge the dollar just yet. It's going to be a while.
Just yet. It's grown a lot quicker than people thought it would. A lot more countries have joined. So it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Here's a gooder when we talk about the globalists. Donald Trump, according to Trump Army, Donald Trump wants to declare the World Economic Forum a terrorist organization.
Please do.
You support this. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I don't like Klaus Schwab. I don't like him. Okay, he's a bit of a jackass. He's a bit of a nuisance. Get him out of here. Send him to Uganda. He can go govern Uganda. Have a lollipop. I think it'd be awesome. Wouldn't it be nice if our government took such a stance and said, like Pierre says, he's not going to have
worth a damn.
Yeah, like Pierre says, I don't want any of my cabinet being involved with the WEF. They won't have any involvement with being on boards or near the WEF. Wouldn't it be nice just to say they're a terrorist organization? They've screwed up the world enough. They're like Soros. Like they've done enough damage. Get them out of here.
They've purposefully given bad advice with a view to purposefully decline in the world so that they can then step in with the rules that are going to save us all and get it all locked down once and for all. So no, yes, they are a terrorist organization. Absolutely. 100%.
Mr. Blockton with a $5 super chat. I loved the passion behind Smith's rant of Saskatchewan, Alberta is losing out to Ottawa. Maybe she could have a Mo moment and refuse to remit the taxes. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I'd love to see that.
I would like that.
Love to see that.
I approve of this message.
OAO asking, would you consider making Friday night's stream have a longer meme show, 15 plus minutes? I think people would get bored.
People like the memes, Derek. They love the memes.
They like the memes, but I mean, God, the problem with memes is they're so hard. They're so hard to
like 30 memes a day.
But they're all really dank memes that I can't show on stream for the.
You need a safe folder. Showable memes.
What do we got here?
Most of my memes are too offensive to show to the general.
Spiky Mikey saying, "Can you say Doug Ford on YouTube?" We just did.
I don't like it when Doug Ford acts like a liberal.
They're putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. I like you, Donald Trump.
Everybody thinks I look like Alex Jones.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a delayed understanding of that.
You're gonna have to start. We're gonna have to get like a green screen for you, Matt, and we'll put like the InfoWars panel behind you.
You can have a rant about the gay frogs.
And you can sit there.
We have a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen.
See, perfect. So I'll do the Donald. I'll do Donald Trump, and you can do Alex Jones for a whole night. It'll be wonderful. Celtic will be here. Celtic will be a good moderator. She'll stand here, and we'll have a good interview. It'll be lovely, wonderful. Throw one in the chat if you guys.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Marco, the Choose on Super Chat, he'd basically be calling Mark Carney a terrorist. Yeah, well, I'm all for it. I am all for it. If you guys want memes, let's take a break. Let's have a laugh. There is something I put in my bookmarks today. I was going to save it for Friday, but it's just so
Show
damn
the
fun.
Scottish Girl Braveheart memes. Those are great. I'm loud.
I haven't seen those. Maybe I'll bring those up for
Oh.
Friday. I'm not going to dig them up now. I want to
send
show
them
this
to you.
video.
I've got like 5.
I have a feeling this was AI. I thought it was AI. Somebody told me it was real. If it's the case, if this is the case, I would murder this dog if it was my dog. This dog would be a rug. Take a look at this dog here, going through its dog door with the hose.
Oh man!
Oh, you little
no, there it is. There it is. I can prove it's
computer's
AI.
a bookshelf?
I can prove it's AI. Look, he goes through the door, and the hose is over the wall.
inside.
Yeah, this is AI. Either that or it's rigged. Look at this. Just think though, if this was real, if this was your dog, what would you do? What would you do if you came home and saw this? I can tell you right now, we come home and the dog's
what can you do though? It's like
gone
dealing
through the
with
trash.
children.
I will admit this has happened in our house with my kids. My son once came in the house with the hose, and Dad, how do I turn the hose off? And he's pointing it right towards the doorway. I mean, he was only about 3 or 4 when he did it, but I mean, like, look, if this was legit, because we all know now that it's AI. I mean, they did a good job with the water on the floor there, but like, what would you do if this was your dog?
Oh, geez. But look at him. He's so cute and lovable.
I'll tell you, that fluff on the floor would be replaced with a golden retriever rug.
Yeah, that
by the
needs
time I get
caging
home.
if there's nobody around. For
Sure. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, OAO says it's still funny. I think it's hilarious.
I only laugh at memes that would get me sent to prison in the UK.
What do we got here?
Which is all of them.
Hang on. I know I'm missing some honorable mentions. I'm missing them. Hang on, let's get in. Snow. Have you seen the Bull? Edison Motors in BC is going through trying to build a hybrid semi under the Fed's rules. I can email you a link if you want. Snow, email me that link. I haven't seen that. We'll maybe talk about that either in memes or
I'm going to have
or
to
on
put
Friday
something together about the EV mandate and the state of the minerals that they would require.
Do we have... I mean, I'm seeing some memes. Let's share the screen on this. They're not really memes. They're just AI-generated images of the Scotland girl.
That's true. Yeah, that one's good.
Oh, here we go. Scotland girl thread. This is a list of the best memes that have been made with the Scotland girl.
Legend.
Let's take a look here.
Skyrim.
You're a 14-year-old white girl in the UK. Hey, UK, how's it going? Little girls are being arrested for carrying around axes to defend themselves from migrant R gangs. Holy shit. You're a 12-year-old girl in Scotland and defended yourself from a foreign SA.
Great.
We'll say, a racist. What's it like living in the UK? Yeah. What's it like living in the UK? I can't complain. That's good. No, I mean, I can't complain. I might go to jail. Isn't that the truth?
Like, it's not even a meme anymore. They are sending police to people's doors saying, hey, did you post this online? Like, what madness?
Yeah, there are a ton of those videos. That's awful.
The gangs of Scotland. I mean, that's accurate. That's accurate, except these guys should all be in kilts. No, I'm just kidding. They don't. People think they wear kilts everywhere in Scotland. They don't. It's... POV, you said you don't like British girls getting groped. We'll say that one. Don't tread on me. I like that one. That's a good one. Resist. I mean, she's gonna become ungovernable.
Yep. That's a good one too. I like that one.
You're mad the little Scottish girl had a knife and an axe. I'm mad she didn't have a gun. We are not the same. I mean, yeah. I mean, that pretty much. I like this one. Hey, Celtic, that's a good one because it's the new Scottish flag. I like that. That's the Braveheart comparison. That's nice. I like that. Netflix.
Never take out. Oh my
God! Oh, that's a winner. That's a winner. Whoever did that wins the internet. Like I doubt this Tumacho guy did it, but oh, that wins the internet. That is hilarious. Lego City Scottish Warrior Girl. I like that one. What's this? Oh, geez.
That's the Grok animating the image.
Oh, my goodness.
You can put any image in Grok and it'll animate it for you.
This should be the picture of our men, not our kids. Yeah, I agree with that one. That one's not really a meme, but it's hilarious. There it is. Why aren't any men helping us? Britain has no men. We're on our own. I mean, again, truth. There's the good old animation again. God, that does such a good job of animating photos.
Have you seen Elon's stuff that he posts where he just puts a picture in a Grok and animates it? It's crazy.
They're always like porn fantasy chicks that Elon posts.
Yes,
he's got problems. He really has. He has the artistic taste of an undersexed 13-year-old boy.
In order to do the things he does, you kind of have to be kind of screwed up.
Oh, there it is. If you think 30 million crossed the border illegally to work the fields and clean toilets, you're an idiot. I mean, yeah. There's another don't tread on me.
Then he tread on me.
Deportations is the civilized option. I mean,
there is another.
Oh, it's so good.
There we go.
I absolutely
end on a laugh.
I love it. End on a laugh. There we go. Look, we didn't even hit the 500 likes. Are we serious, guys?
Oh, come on, people.
What a sad stream. You all fail. That's oh wait, I can't be like that other guy, the PewDiePie guy. All you care is about your views and clicks, bruh. I want to thank everybody who came into the stream regardless tonight. It was a great stream. Regardless. Join me Friday night for Friday Night Fringe. We're going to have a lot more to talk about, a lot more going on. I think a lot of this has to do with Danielle does have her panel going on right now. So I'm assuming that's the low viewers tonight. It's hard to compete when the premier's doing the Alberta Next panels.
Well, yeah,
a lot of people are watching those.
Audience,
I'm not taking it as an insult. It's part of the game. I guarantee you the views will be the same tomorrow as they always are after stream, because we'll have, people who said, I caught it after the Alberta Next panel. Oh, Carson, you didn't have to do that. See, now this looks like pity. Carson, email me, by the way, Carson, because I do have a calendar I'm going to send your way. As a thank you for everything you've done in our streams.
You could animate Carson with Grok.
I could animate Carson with Grok. I got another idea for that one that I'm going to run. The Gringo is going to be in there, but I got an idea for that one. Carson, thank you for gifting the memberships. Welcome to all 10 of our unearned new patriots to the Patriots.
Thank you, Carson.
Thank you, Carson. Send me an email so I can send you that calendar. It's going to look great in Puerto Vallarta. Shoot that my way. Ladies and gents, join us Friday. God, I'm tripping up over my words here. Join us Friday for Friday Night Fringe at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. A lot more great content coming your way throughout the week. Keep your eyes on the channel. A lot of stuff going on with Pierre. A lot of stuff going on with Mark Carney. We're going to be talking about him. Come on back later in the week. It's going to be great. Guys, from myself, Celtic Matt, have yourselves a great evening. Thanks for joining us on the stream. There's the devil horns. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
I don't believe in the devil.
You can't kill the metal.